Like this show and want to make your own? Let me tell you about Anchor. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Now you can even add any song from Spotify directly to your episode. The possibilities are endless for what you can create, whether it's music analysis, your own radio show, or something the world's never heard before. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hello, you're listening to Got Clutter, Get Organized, a podcast that focuses on helping you create space to attract more money, love, and happiness in your life. I am your host, Janet M. Taylor. I want to say hello if you're a regular listener and welcome if you're listening for the very first time. I hope you're having a great start to your week. If you enjoy listening to this podcast, please leave a review so I can continue bringing you episodes each week. In this episode, I'm excited because fellow professional organizer Geralin Thomas of Metropolitan Organizing will be joining me as my guest to share strategies for you to get organized in the new year, specifically on how we look at clutter and how we can let it go. I will also be sharing my product, app, purpose, and book suggestion for this week. And my question for you this week is, what area in your home do you want to tackle? And my upcoming workshops, time management and home organizing, there is still time to register, so don't delay. And of course, for those of you who did not know, the home organizing industry has more than doubled in size since 2000 and is growing at a staggering rate of 10% each year. The last figures that came in, it was like an $8 billion industry, which lets you know that, we're all have this desire to have our spaces organized, to create systems in our homes and our lives, which is why I wanted to bring on who I consider the expert, the guru, professional organizer, Geralin Thomas. She's the founder of Metropolitan Organizing, has been organizing her entire life. Some say she's a naturally organized professional organizer. For 19 years, she's helped people around the world get organized and perfect the process of being more productive so they can pursue their passion. Geralin enjoys assisting her clients in understanding their acquiring and discarding patterns. She had a variety of clients with different challenges. You may have seen Geralin on the Emmy-nominated show Hoarders, where she worked in some of America's most cluttered homes. She's been featured on TV shows, interviewed in national publications and TV commercials. On YouTube, Geralin provides answers to frequently asked questions submitted by professional organizers, and on her website, you can find over 500 free articles and quizzes. And of course, to learn more about how you can become a professional organizer or access any of Geralin's free checklists and downloads, you can visit her website at metropolitanorganizing.com. And of course, there will be a link in the show page. But I am going to suggest that you get either your device, your tablet, your laptop, pen and paper, because Geralin really provides us with some strategies, but just allows us to really think differently about the clutter in our homes as well as our lives. Well, listeners, I am excited because it's a new year, fresh start, and I'm excited because we have Geralin Thomas, who is a professional organizing expert I have known for years, and she's going to share with us just some strategies on, it's a new year, fresh start, just maybe how to let go maybe of a thing, 2, 3, or 4. So, Geralin, thank you so much for joining us.
Are you kidding me, Janet? This is like my dream come true. I have paid attention to you for a long time on Twitter and LinkedIn, and then I became a fan of your podcast, and I tell my friends that if I ever need a kick in the seat to get motivated, I just tune in and listen to your quick little, and I love your Toss It Tuesday. I'm like, what's she going to get rid of this week? I really do enjoy your show. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. So before we get started on the tips and strategies, how did you decide that this was something you wanted to do, be an organizing expert? Guru, I should say, guru.
Well, thank you. I don't think that's necessary. I think I am naturally organized. I was born organized. And I also love, I know not all your listeners are going to identify with this, but I enjoy cleaning things. So cleaning is cool with me. And I really, the older I get, the more in tune I am to, I like the process of things. I like figuring out a process of anything. So I enjoy the process of any activity or tasks. And long story short, I just wanted to be helpful and supportive to people who maybe don't enjoy editing, organizing, categorizing, and maintaining. Maybe they don't have time for it. Maybe they don't understand how to get started and follow through. And I think that a lot of us in this industry enjoy teaching this as a form of self-care, right? I mean, being prepared. A lot of people don't have the luxury or the time of being prepared when disruptions happen. But I like to think of this as helping clients transform their way of thinking that this is a way to practice self-care.
And I love the way you said that, because somebody asked me today about how, the whole process. I'm going to talk about letting go. How do you make it fun, Janet? I said, well, I was with a client and she came across a manual for a flip phone, Geralin, flip phone. Yep. And I looked at her and I said, do you have a flip phone? Do you own a flip phone? And she started laughing and she said, no. And she knew what I was, the next question. She's like, okay, it goes away. I said, you don't need it. So what are some reasons why, like the psychology, why we just don't want to let go of stuff?
Oh, that's a long one, but well, I like to start with what is clutter first of all, if you don't mind, right? So I'll share my definition, and then I hope your listeners can kind of make their own list, because there's not one way to think about this, but I say it's anything unused, unloved, unfinished, and undecided. Those are my uns, right? So unused, we all can walk around our house and think, well, I haven't used that. Unloved does not include people or things in your home, okay? People or pets, right? Unfinished, we all have like a craft, something or other started back before the Civil War, and now we're going to think we're going to finish it someday. No. And undecided. These are the things like maybe you want to change career paths. Maybe you want to get into something different. You have to take time to make a decision, or it can be mental clutter. Maybe it's a conversation that we're procrastinating. I've got to call the cable company, and I don't want to call the cable company because I'll be on the phone for, half an hour if we're lucky, right? So those are the things we keep putting off, something undecided, unloved, unfinished, unused. Then the next thing I would encourage listeners to think about is, where does their particular clutter, or where does our clutter come from? And I'll give you a couple examples. So sometimes it's relatives, coworkers. If you volunteered for a committee, anybody who's got kids knows, or grandparents, or old wedding gifts, or coworkers with the reply all, right? Clutter. Tech, gadgets, and gizmos like wires, cords, chargers, manuals, flash drives. I know. Can imagine with you having done 400 and some podcasts that tech has changed over the last few years, and we have to keep updating our stuff, and they don't make it easy for us, right? You need a new cord, a new charger, a new this, a new that. So if you're a shopper, you get a gift with purchase. And sometimes those gifts are something that's never going to look good or smell good on us. It's a fragrance sample, and we think, well, I'll throw it in a drawer and get rid of it later. Or we steal the little shampoo from the hotel, stuff like that. Or a BOGO, buy one, get one. Or worse, buy 5, get 1, right? So you're buying 5 cans of pork and beans or 5 pairs of shoes just to get that. And we don't really need 5 of anything, or 6, but, and I'll give you 2 more and then I'll stop. But conventions, vacations, events, right? We pick up the keychains, the lanyards, the buttons, the pens. And then the last one would be social media, right? That's time spent on Instagram or whatever is not always time well spent. So those are some of the ways clutter comes into our lives.
And I'm telling you, Geralin, when you said devices, I was like, oh my goodness, she must have been looking and peeping in my window because I recently looked at that container I have of all of those cords. And I
Yeah,
was like, where did they come from? What are they to?
I know.
So I realized which ones went to the TV, put those aside, keep those.
Good.
But then the unidentified ones, I basically took a picture, texted my godson, and said, okay, what do I need to keep? What do I need to get rid of? And he sent me a beautiful text back, said, get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, keep 5. I was like, thank you so much. And it just made it. But you're right. It's like all of that stuff, and we don't realize it just piles up, day, week, year. But when you said the buy one, get 5, oh my goodness. And
Well,
that's how they get people.
exactly. And we don't need to buy five, right? And I would tell you, especially in a grocery store, your listeners, please check with the store. Sometimes you don't have to buy five to get the lower price. Sometimes, they'll charge you 1/5 of whatever item you're buying, So, and I know from listening to your podcast that you, I think, have a really good tip, and that's like use something, repurpose like a toilet tissue holder or a paper towel holder or a gift wrap. Put your cord in there and write what that thing is for, because I don't know what a lot of this stuff goes to either. I have to depend on my
Yes,
kids.
you look at that drawer and you're thinking, okay, things seem to be multiplying. So, what are some, like, maybe a couple of tips that people can use in the new year to kind of conquer their clutter? Get rid of maybe a piece here, there, maybe something once a month, once a week, something.
Okay, so I'll share what I do, and I share this with my clients, and I share it with anybody who will listen. But again, the psychology for me is in the routines and processes. So what I like to do is I have this, and if you live in a rural area, this might not work, but our trash is picked up every Tuesday, and then our recycling is picked up every other Tuesday. So I've come up with, what New Year's Eve is, what Christmas Eve is, but do you know what Trash Eve is? Trash Eve is the night before your recycling or your trash is picked up. So I have trained myself to get into this routine. So along with emptying the trash cans throughout the house, right, and your dryer lint and all that good stuff, I do odd jobs. And those jobs for me might mean clean your makeup brushes or clean your hair brushes or fill your bird feeders or pay your bills or take all your donations to a drop off every other week when you're recycling. So get into a routine, right? I'll give you an example of with processing. Have a process for the things that you are going to keep. So for me, that would sound something like I'm going to organize like with like items. I think most organizers do this, right? But there's also a process involved in that. And that process might be you decide to keep things in some type of order. And that's where the process comes in. Do you want to keep it in chronological order, meaning a date? And if you're going to keep it by date, have a naming convention. Is it 4-digit year, 2-digit month, 2-digit date, or something different? You might organize by color or by frequency of use, right? Some people I've seen people file their stuff with frequency of use. Their most used papers, for example, would be filed in the front of the drawer. And then another tip I would share is have a home or an address for every single thing that you're out admiring or putting in your shopping cart, and think about where that thing is going to live. And maybe before you order it or pick it up or have it delivered, you go in and make sure there's actually enough space for that. So do you really need another pair of black shoes or another pair of jeans or another pair of whatever, or another can of pineapple? I mean, we all have our own vices. So those would be a few things.
Wow, that was a nugget. Have an address for something before you bring it home. Boy, that could cut down your clutter. So, oh my goodness, percentage wise, wow. So that's a good tip, everybody. That's a good tip. And of course, always, if you have to listen to this over again, just to write down all the nuggets that Geralin is giving us, please do so. So, Geralin, with everything that you do, how do you manage your life, your time? Because you're an organizer, so you do it for other people. But of course, you have your own life, your family, community stuff. The list could go on and on and on. Because I know you're also involved in boards and things like that. So how do you do it? How do you like manage your time to get everything done without really feeling overwhelmed?
Okay, I do a couple things, and I hope this will benefit your listeners. First of all, I'm really a big believer in scheduling a date and time for anything I'm going to do. And that even means I go to the gym almost every day. And I found that I don't do as well if I don't go to the gym. So during the pandemic, I thought, yeah, I'm going to commit to exercising. I didn't. I had to join a group online and do a Zoom. So I had to calendar, put that date and time, 60 minutes on my calendar. So the next thing is make a plan and have the supplies on hand for whatever you're going to do. We do this when we're cooking, right? If you're going to make some cheesecake that you never make but once a year, you're going to look at the ingredients, you're going to make a list, you're going to go to the store, you're going to have everything you need, your kitchen all in order when you start that. Same thing with an organizing project. And then again, back to psychology, I think of possessions and activities for myself as my personal brand. And I don't like to keep a bunch of stuff around my house or tucked into cabinets unless it really screams, that's Geralin. That is who I am today. And, we do this. I just did something similar, decluttering. I had some old kind of, it's not my style anymore. Cut glass stuff, like, I don't know. I think they were called like pickle dishes back in the day, or, something you'd serve deviled eggs. I'm like, I'm not making deviled eggs. I love eating them, but I'm not going to make them. So I'm letting go. It's not who I am. It's not my personal brand. We can especially do this with clothes, right? Like I used to be that person. And for some listeners, it might be, I used to be a size, whatever, and I'm no longer that size. But think about what you want to project to the public. So again, with the personal brand, who are you? What do you want to project? And also, for people living alone or even not alone. I mean, there's some of us that have kids, but what do you want to leave for people to have to get rid of after you're gone, right? That years ago, I'm sure you remember, Janet, that book, Swedish Death Cleaning or something, right? Do you remember that?
Yes,
And
I do.
yeah, that was kind of a neat way of twisting something and thinking about, well, when I'm gone, who's going to have to deal with 3 sets of Christmas dishes and whatever else you got hanging around, right? So those are the things that I think of when I'm trying to stay organized. I want it to be my personal brand. It's going to reflect who I am today. I don't want my kids to have to shovel stuff out of here for years and years. I don't want to be a burden to them. I like to be intentional. I like to be prepared. I like to schedule a date and time. And I would tell anybody, have the supplies on hand for what you're doing.
Those are some great strategies, and I can truly relate about the whole closet because I looked in my closet and I'm like, I'm not wearing all these suits anymore. I
Right.
have a different style, still professional, but not the suit, the jacket, the this. So it was like, you know what? I need to let these go and allow somebody else who uses these to really, benefit from them. So I can truly, truly relate. Well, Geraldine, I could talk to you all day and all night, but I know you've got a schedule. So how can the listeners connect with you?
Oh, I would love, well, first of all, if they like this show, I'm going to ask them to please leave a review, right? For your podcast. That would be the biggest compliment to both you and me, is to just leave a word and say you listened and you got a little something out of it. That would be fabulous. If you want to find me online, I have a website, metropolitanorganizing.com. I have written hundreds of blog posts. I've been blogging for years, and I've got free blog posts, free checklists, free quizzes. And if you're not into that, I'm sometimes on Pinterest or YouTube or LinkedIn or Twitter. That's how they can find me, metropolitanorganizing.com.
And of course, listeners, I will have a direct link to Geralyn's website so you can connect with her and, get some of those free resources. So, Geralyn, thank you so much.
Janet, my pleasure. Thanks a bunch for having me.
Oh, and I will have you back. So just know that.
Okay, great. Thanks. I look forward to that.
All right. So, what were your takeaways from my conversation with Geraldine? I mean, she dropped so many wisdom nuggets that you probably got a little writer's cramp. So, what you can do is you can listen to the interview again and you can share it with someone. I mean, some of the things she said almost reminded me of things that my mother would do, which I'm going to be sharing with you one of those in my Taylor's Time tip. But she just provided so many things. Wow. Wasn't that a great and awesome interview? So now it's time to move to Taylor's tip time. And I'm going to just provide you with 5 additional things you can do in order to organize that home of yours. Number 1, schedule time, start to finish, to do the laundry. That means when you put it in the wash, you take it out. You put it in the dry, you take it out. You may let it cool for a few minutes. You fold it up. You put it away. That will eliminate that pile of clean clothes clutter. Weekly toss out your recycles, your mail, etc. So make it a habit. And if you live in a apartment complex where you don't necessarily have a trash day, recycle day, create your own. Number 3, shred monthly. Because I know a lot of times you're trying to run around like, where's a shredding event? Make shredding a part of your routine. Now, depending on the amount of shredding, you may have gone to a shredding event. Now you don't have anything, so incorporate monthly shredding. But maybe you have a lot of shredding to go through. So then maybe it's time to just incorporate some shredding into your weekly schedule. Number 4. So 1 was time for the laundry. 2, weekly recycling. Sometimes I get tongue-tied. 3, shred monthly or weekly, whatever works for you. And number 4, this was the tip. It's like, wow, I feel like Geralyn has just like dropped a wisdom nugget from my mother. Is clean out the refrigerator the night before you take out the trash. She would stand in front of that refrigerator, and if there's anything that needed to be discarded, that would be her ritual. She would go around the house. Okay, it's tomorrow's trash day. We need to get rid of stuff. We need to move stuff out. And number 5 is place a box or bag in a closet and place clothes that don't fit. Once the closet, once that is full, donate those items. Because we all know there's things that we just no longer fit. They no longer fit our style, our personality. So make this the year to let them go. Have you been working on getting organized and feel overwhelmed? Are you challenged by managing your time between work, home, and life? Do you want to organize your life? Let's talk so I can help you. I work with clients to guide them from start to finish by providing them with details needed to clear the clutter and get organized without feeling overwhelmed and stressed. Go to my contact page and schedule a free 15-minute session. In addition, I offer a variety of virtual coaching plans to meet your needs. Take the steps necessary to create the life you want and start by doing it today. Click the link in the show page. And there is still time to register for the 2 workshops I'm offering this month. Conquering the Clutter to Create a Home You Love on Saturday, January 15th, 2022 at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. How to tackle your project, how to conquer that paper clutter, keys to maintaining order, and more. And the second is Mastering Your Time to Create the Life You Want on Wednesday, January 26th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How to conquer time wasters, understanding how not to overcommit, how to conquer procrastination, and so much more. You can click the link in the show page for complete details and to register. And again, space is going to be very limited because I want to be able to interact with everyone who attends so you can walk away with a strategy that'll help you either organize your home or better manage your time. Well, of course, I want to take a moment to thank you. Thank you for following me on social media, for your likes, your retweets, for your sharing. And please continue to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. Please like and share. And don't forget to check out my YouTube channel as well. And of course, if you're thinking of getting your life organized, don't get overwhelmed. Join my Facebook group, Living Life Totally Organized. It's a community of women supporting each other on their journey to living a life that is totally organized. It's free to join. So join today. And we have started our weekly challenges. We are excited. We've got a challenge every week. So join us and join the community. Well, do you know what time it is? Are you getting your little dance, your little two-step? Have you pushed the coffee table aside? Are you dancing in the bedroom, in the dining room? It is Toss It Tuesday time. And this week, I want you to clean out a junk drawer. Just one junk drawer. It may motivate you to do more, but I challenge you this week to do one. My app suggestion this week is HomeZada. Easy to use smart applications, content, and data manage your home for insurance, maintenance, remodeling, financial purposes, and more. So that's a great way to organize all of that stuff. HomeZada. My product suggestion from my Amazon shop are drawer organizers. You can organize your jewelry. You can organize the contents in the kitchen drawer, and the bathroom drawer, and the office drawer. So many things. Now, my repurpose suggestion for this week is old drawers are great for so many purposes. Some people put wheels on them and use them for storage under the bed. Some people get creative, and because drawers seem to last a little bit longer than the furniture itself, they make bookcases out of them. So check out my repurpose page on Pinterest. And my book selection this week is from our guest, Geralin Thomas, and Decluttering Your Home, Tips, Techniques, and Trade Secrets. Again, the book selection this week is from our guest, Geralin Thomas, Decluttering Your Home, Tips, Techniques, and Trade Secrets. My quote for you this week is, if you don't love it or use it, it's clutter. I'm going to repeat that. If you don't love it or use it, it's clutter. Well, I want to thank you so much for listening, and be sure to share this podcast with your family, your friends, and on your social media network. Again, if you enjoy listening to this podcast, leave a review and be sure to visit my website at www.janetmtaylor.com. And until next time, you have a clutter-free day, but most of all, have an organized week. Organization is a quintessential element of a clutter-free life. Join me as we take this journey together. Along the way, we will find the necessary answers to your organizing dilemmas. My name is Janet M. Taylor, and you are listening to Got Clutter, Get Organized.